Hello and welcome to Season 6 of Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real, introducing corporate leaders who've taken the leap to business owner and celebrate their great idea in our guest blog, found on shareyourstories.online. Our guest joins us from Hamilton, Ontario. Lisa Kiss is an entrepreneur with a journey that has taken her from marketing to yoga, with a side hustle that has turned into a growing practice with more than 450 astrology and meditation clients. Let's find out how Lisa would describe the journey from teenage startup to creating a business that has changed her life and purpose. It is my pleasure to welcome and introduce everyone to Lisa.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You know, I have to say, when I read your story, I was completely blown away that you had started your entrepreneurial journey as a teenager. So why don't you share with our viewing and listening audience what gave you the idea to start a social media blog that actually generated revenue for you?
Yes, so back when I was 18, I started a kind of fashion and lifestyle blog as a way while I was in school to essentially document what was going on with school and internships. And I wanted to create a portfolio. So I had something when I was done school, when I would be out interviewing for jobs. So I've always been very career focused in that way and purpose driven. I didn't end up doing that because I went into self-employment.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't even think of it really as entrepreneurship or a business. For me, it was just something fun to do, like a project to work on, just something inspiring for me to do and have fun with. And I feel like I've kind of kept that throughout my whole journey as it's just fun for me, keeping that funness in there.
You know, what's really interesting to me is that you had the thought to start the blog to use that as a stepping stone to get your career started. So whether it was in a job or whether you were going to be an entrepreneur, you were still using those grassroots sort of assets to tell people who Lisa was and what you were doing, which I think is so cool.
Yeah. I even the communication aspect of it, because that comes up a lot through my journey. Even from a young age, I would say I'm here to communicate and share a message. I just didn't necessarily know what that message was, but I knew that a blog would be a great way to
Get
figure
it started.
out what message I would want to share. So
yeah. Now, what was your interest in marketing? So your formal education, I'm assuming, was in the marketing world, and you mentioned that you did, you had some wonderful placements with folks that gave you some experience. Give us a little bit of an indication how you went from marketing to yoga.
yes, so I did grow up dancing, so like I always loved movement that way. But just I guess I was 20, being 20, starting up the business, having, I called them new stressors. So I was really only familiar with school stress or internship stress, and then having this entrepreneurship stress, which was like, how do I find clients? How do I bring money into this little business? It kind of had me turn to finding a practice that could kind of help me calm down or like lower my stress levels. And then that's how I found yoga, or how it found me in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
And you took a teaching certificate in yoga, did you not?
Yes, I had no plans in like teaching yoga. I took the teacher training. It was recommended to me by the studio owner. She saw how young and ambitious I was, and she was like, I think you would benefit from the personal development aspect of what the yoga teacher training kind of dives into. So that was my goal coming out of it. And it was a very long, long journey, but it kind of led me down like the right path, I think. Yeah.
Now, but becoming a yoga instructor is like 200 hours, isn't it? Isn't it
Yes.
200 hours of actual instruction time? So the one-to-one connection you would make with either an individual client or a group.
Yes, it was a long program. It was over 10 months. I would be spending every other weekend, I think, for like Saturdays 5 hours, Sunday 5 hours, just in the yoga studio, learning things, practicing. Like it took up a lot of my time, but it was time well spent.
Yeah, for sure. So how did you flip the dial? Tell us a little bit about the side hustle, because it was the side hustle that you were kind of testing the waters, I assume, to see if there was an interest in these various different areas of your new business. How did the side hustle go from the background to the foreground?
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of just fell in love with it more. Like I think it's, I guess, a little more fun or a little more connected to what I feel my purpose is in a way.
Right.
But I discovered astrology within yoga teacher training because there was one module on it, and I just
Hmm.
sort of did my own study outside of the classes. And
Hmm.
then about maybe a year and a half of studying, taking another certification. I went through a big period where I did like a lot of spiritual wellness certifications after the YTT.
Hmm.
And I just decided to put it out there and offer astrology readings, consultations to see if there was anyone who would be interested. And I just had so much fun doing them. I was like, okay, there's definitely something here from the point of people, well, I mainly work with women, but women wanting that self-awareness or a deeper self-connection. And I just thought there was something beautiful in that that I was drawn to more, like helping people tap into their intuition and their self-awareness as opposed to just building out social media plans and things like that. Like it felt
Sure.
a little deeper. I liked going deeper with it.
So, how has that helped you? Because, I mean, if you're doing readings for other folks and you're helping them tap into their level of self awareness, I'm going to assume that it also works for you, that you can actually, do readings for yourself and make that connection. So, give us a little bit of an indication as to how. The astrology is, I mean, it's a huge and fascinating world for sure, but how do you apply the skills that you give to someone like myself to you?
Yes. So, well, when I first discovered, so in astrology, we have our zodiac sign, our birthday. Most people know what that is just from like pop culture and everything.
Sure.
But we have a whole chart, and it basically describes your soul's mission or blueprint of as to why you're here. So when I
Hmm.
discovered that I was more than a Gemini, that's my
Your
zodiac
sign.
sign.
Yeah.
When I discovered there was so much more, I was just so fascinated. I was like, wow, I can look at how I process emotions and the way I communicate and the things I love to do and how I want to take action and tackle a project. Like there's all these different things. And that just kind of helped me, being so young, navigate what I was doing with the social media agency to make sure
Sure.
it felt aligned. Um, but then it was also great to share that with other people. But
Hmm.
the chart is so fascinating. So, I mean, if you wanted to look at it to be like, am I in alignment with why I'm here? Am I taking action the way that I want to? Or is there like an upcoming theme happening with the eclipses or something like that? The chart
Right.
can
Right.
provide a different perspective and insight to it.
So, how did you learn the business side of the business? Because, I mean, you've given us some indication as to how you learned the skills for the services that you wanted to
Yeah.
provide. But how did you actually learn the entrepreneurial nuts and bolts of running a business?
Yes. So in high school, my plan was to go into business school, get a business degree after. So I did like business classes in high school. I did business. I went to Ryerson, so I took business classes there. But I say that I really learned the entrepreneurial and business stuff through application. I did internships. So back in 2016 to 2018, like right before I started the entrepreneurial journey. I
Hmm.
worked with three fashion startups in Toronto, which I loved working directly with the founders, and it was in
Hmm.
this like co-working space that, well, it's now called Toronto Metropolitan University, but they have these different zones. So there was the fashion zone, and it was like kind of like a incubator co-working space, and the
Hmm.
energy of it was great because everyone in there was building something. And so I do a lot of service based, but I helped three product based businesses. And I think working around that kind of founder energy kind of
Hmm.
it inspired me to kind of
Inspired
try
you.
this,
Yeah.
like why not? And I essentially monetized what I was doing as an intern and offered it as a skill, but to businesses in Hamilton as opposed to in Toronto.
So in the founder environment, in this sort of incubator of innovation that you found yourself in, can you pinpoint a particular skill or characteristic that those folks had that you admired and said, that's really something that can take you quite far in life. Is there a particular skill that you were able to hone in on?
I mean, probably their determination. Like they
Ah,
were all quite very determined to, I mean, all three of them were women, and all three of them had previous corporate careers. And
okay.
they were all in their early to mid 30s. And I kind of saw and heard from them that they obviously and they enjoyed entrepreneurship more than the corporate career, and things were more
Right.
on their terms. And I kind of saw that and was like, okay, I don't even want to start the corporate career. I just want to go straight to the thing that feels like it makes more sense to people. Yeah.
That's really very cool because I love the fact that you were able to determine that the job in corporate may not serve you as an individual with the lifestyle choices that you wanted to make. So,
Yeah.
how do you find entrepreneurship serves Lisa and the lifestyle that you're building?
It just gives me the flexibility, I think. I work mostly remotely. Like sometimes I do in-person events or in-person client meetings, but I
Mhm.
work primarily remotely, which I just like as more of an introverted person. Um,
Right.
I do a lot of talking or speaking, but I am naturally more introverted to need to recharge after things. But it's really just that flexibility. I can kind of just, I don't know, make my,
Manage your time,
yeah. Mhm.
right? Manage your time. Now, do you still find that you resort to meditation to de-stress from what you do in your career or in your business?
Yes, so not even just meditation, like what you typically see with closing your eyes and focusing on breath, but I just sort
Mhm.
of incorporate what I call mindful moments throughout my day, where I just, if I feel overwhelmed or if anything's going on, I just pause. And I find there's like something very good in those pauses of just bringing in that mindful awareness of, okay, you're overwhelmed, don't continue working, that's not going to help you, like
Sure. Take a
step back.
break.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a break. So, what are the actual services that you now offer to your particular client base? Because you've mentioned that you went on this, you know, emotional and spiritual journey of creating and obtaining all of the certificates that you needed in order to add to your credibility. But what are the actual services that you now provide?
Yes, so I feel like I'm kind of young to say this, but I retired astrology readings, and I just now teach astrology courses because I think the best thing I can
Really?
do is teach you the information so you have the skills and the knowledge yourself to then read your own chart instead of being dependent on someone else to always be reading the chart. I've obviously had lots of different reading experiences, and I feel like
Sure.
it's just the healthiest to just teach people and empower them with the skills. So I do that, and then I'm starting up now doing a monthly free just dance meditation online for people to just join in and get a taste of what it is that I do. Um, but yeah, and then I still have some clients who I help with social media that I've had for years that I just don't
Right.
want to stop helping them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like teaching astrology. That's my thing now.
Really? I find that very fascinating because that now that's another paradigm shift, right?
Yes, I'm always changing and shifting, or my family says I'm always like evolving onto the next thing. I kind of grow out of things and then
Ah,
move forward.
and
So
see an opportunity, right?
yeah.
So if someone were to ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 3 years? You know, what is the thing that's now interesting Lisa so that she's looking further afield and perhaps creating a plan to add another service or maybe even a product to your current business model?
I definitely see myself doing more speaking, whether that's online, in person, and then have that sort of funnel into the
Mhm.
astrology courses. I mean,
Sure.
I don't know about 3 years, but maybe down the line, I'd love to create, like, add something to my current course library that can certify people to be astrological guides or incorporate astrology into their, whether it be yoga classes or Reiki or whatever work they're doing, like give them the
Sure.
knowledge to do moon classes or moon circles, or maybe they want to offer birth chart readings, but something like that has been like in my mind, but I know like it's not the time right now. It's like a
Right.
future
Right.
thing.
You have to nurture it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I certainly think that your entrepreneurial journey, even though it's just started, because I mean, you would consider yourself sort of in the second phase of being an entrepreneur. You've had a great idea. You've taken that great idea into a business. Now you've kind of changed strategically. You've added some services, you've changed your services, and now you're in a growth spurt. So I find it really interesting that we'll be able to, stay connected with you and kind of see where your career ends up taking you in the next few years. I think that may be really fun. One of the things that we do in the guest blog is we ask folks to share 3 words of advice. And your 3 words are patience, alignment, and courage. So why don't we wrap up our conversation today with you sharing with our viewing and listening audience why those specific 3 words are important?
Yes. So I wrote patience first because I definitely did not have patience like 7 years ago. There was a lot of, I say my early 20s self just wanted things done immediately, or I felt like I had to be at a certain place. And now that I'm 28, I'm like, oh, I'm so young. There's so much time to do things. But I didn't think that way in my early 20s. So patience is definitely key because you need time to grow. People need time to discover what it is that you're doing and for you to make connections and everything.
Right.
I definitely like the word alignment. I use it a lot because things need to feel aligned for me, but you can really feel um, in your business if something feels off, whether it be just some like how you feel intuitively or how clients are responding to things, but alignment is very important. And then courage to just sort of take that leap of faith to start if you want to. I definitely think I started at a time of like low risk in my life, and it becomes harder as you get older to like take that leap of faith just with different life factors, but having that courage to just see what happens because there'd probably be more regret if you didn't get to see what happens by starting a business. So
I love the fact that you're at a age and stage in life where you're having the courage to step outside your comfort zone and find something new that sort of aligns with what you feel is your mission and purpose. So congratulations to you for taking that first leap when you were a teenager and recognizing some of the signs and symptoms that have taken you now to on an entrepreneurial journey that's really getting solid, and you have a really wonderful foundation for the future. So congratulations for that.
thank you.
I want to, you've given us some really great things to think about. We're definitely going to ensure that we stay in touch so that you can keep us informed of that journey. And we certainly wish you continued and tremendous success as you move into the next phase of your business.
Thank you. And I just want to say what you're doing with these interviews, I think is great. There's so many things I've discovered just by going on the blog and on the website.
Oh, thank you.
What people are doing all over. So.
Well, we hope we inspire each other, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. So thank you so much for joining us today. To our viewing and listening audience, Lisa and I would like to thank you for joining us for this edition of Keeping It Real, introducing you to the person behind the logo. If you'd like to connect with our guest, you're going to find Lisa's contact information in the description portion below. I'm Trish Tonai, author, artist, and the founder and host for the series. And we invite you to share your business story. Just visit our website at shareyourstories.online and subscribe to our channel, Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to meeting you next time when we share another great idea.